Welcome to today's 5-minute Bible study in the Gospel of Matthew. Today we're in Matthew chapter 26. We're going to begin reading at verse 57. Now, in our last session, we saw that Jesus has been arrested in the Garden of Gethsemane. And so begins a night of trial. Those who had arrested Jesus took him to Caiaphas, the high priest, where the teachers of the law and the elders had assembled. Peter followed him at a distance, right up to the courtyard of the high priest. He entered and sat down with the guards to see the outcome. Now, over the course of the night and into the next day, Jesus will have at least 4 trials or 4 hearings. Now, Matthew tells us of the trial before Caiaphas and the Sanhedrin. Now, remember, the Sanhedrin, that's the ruling council of the Jewish people, the chief priests, the elders, the teachers of the law. But there actually was a hearing before he reached Caiaphas. In the Gospel of John, we are told that first Jesus was taken to the home of Annas. Now, Annas used to be high priest, and he was the father-in-law of Caiaphas. So even though he's no longer officially the high priest, Annas is sort of the power behind the throne. He sort of operates behind the scenes, controlling things. So first Jesus is taken to Annas for hearing. And then he is taken to Caiaphas, as Matthew tells us, for the trial before the Sanhedrin being the ruling council. But you remember, of course, the Sanhedrin cannot carry out the death penalty. Only the Romans can do that. So in the morning, Caiaphas and the Sanhedrin will send Jesus to Pilate, the Roman governor, because they'll be seeking the death penalty. Jesus will appear before Pilate. When Pilate learns he's from Galilee, Pilate will send him to Herod. Herod is the king in Galilee. He's in Jerusalem for the Passover. And so Pilate tries to distance himself from what is going on by sending Jesus to Herod, saying, well, he's a Galilean, he is under your jurisdiction. Herod wants to meet Jesus, and he hears him, but he doesn't want to rule, so he will send Jesus back to Pilate. And that's where the final trial will take place, and Jesus will be sentenced to be crucified. So a series of things are set in motion with the arrest. First we go to Annas, then we go to Caiaphas, then to Pilate, then to Herod, and then back to Pilate. Now, what Matthew is telling us about is the trial before Caiaphas and the Sanhedrin that night. The chief priest and the whole Sanhedrin were looking for false evidence against Jesus because they wanted to put him to death. But they could not find any, even though many false witnesses came forward. And finally, they had 2 come forward and say, this fellow said, I'm going to destroy the temple of God and I will rebuild it in 3 days. So they have all these accusations, none of which stand up. Even the Sanhedrin realize that their evidence is flimsy. And they get this testimony about Jesus' comments about the temple being destroyed and raised in 3 days. Of course, we know that Jesus, when he said that, was speaking prophetically of his death and resurrection. But even that doesn't stand up. So what will the high priest do? He stands up and says to Jesus, aren't you going to answer? What is this testimony these men bring against you? Jesus remained silent. So the high priest says to him, I charge you under oath by the living God. Tell us, are you the Messiah? Are you the Son of God? Jesus replies, you have said so. But I say to all of you, from now on you will see the Son of Man sitting at the right hand of the Mighty One and coming on the clouds of heaven. So Caiaphas asked Jesus directly, are you the Messiah? Are you the Son of God? And Jesus says, you've said so. And then he quotes from Daniel. This is from Daniel chapter 7, a vision Daniel had of the heavenly courts and one like a Son of Man at the right hand of the Mighty One, a divine figure. Jesus says, you will see the Son of Man. Jesus always referred to himself as the Son of Man. You will see me, he said, at the right hand of God, coming on the clouds of heaven. So Jesus said, yes, I am the Messiah. Yes, I am the Son of God. Yes, I am God among you. That's what the high priest wanted him to say. So the high priest tears his clothing and says, we don't need any more witnesses. He has spoken blasphemy. What do you think? They all answer, he is worthy of death. This is all they need. They consider that Jesus has spoken blasphemy. He's claimed to be God. Now, he has claimed that. That's because he is God. But they don't believe that. So they believe he deserves death. because in their mind he has spoken blasphemy. When the high priest tears his clothing, that is the response to a blasphemous statement. So they condemn Jesus to death because he has spoken blasphemy in their mind, in their eyes. Actually, he is claimed to be the Son of God, which is who he is. Now, the problem for the Sanhedrin is, in their mind, you ought to die because you're a blasphemer. But the Romans won't go for that. So they're going to have to come up with another charge. So when they take him to Pilate, we're going to see they have a different charge to bring against him than of blasphemy. Because blasphemy will mean nothing to Pilate. So the Sanhedrin is done with Jesus. And now they're ready to take him before Pilate. We'll look at that in our next time together. You have a great day today, and I'll see you next time for our 5-minute Bible study in the Gospel of Matthew.